Most creators think that building a cinematic brand requires expensive gear, equipment, and cameras. But the truth is, it actually doesn't. If you can use these principles that I'm about to tell you in this video and master these strategies, you will build a premium personal brand that buys you the freedom that you want, that gives you the income that is going to get you that freedom, and that gives you a life that you don't need to escape from. It gives you purpose, fulfillment, location, time, and money freedom. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how to do that starting from today. And look, you don't need to be a film producer to make cinematic videos. I've been making cinematic videos for the last 2 years. And cinematography using B-rolls in the right way has taken my brand to over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Just by being cinematic, I was able to rise above the noisy competition. And that's exactly how I stood out with the competition and how I grew really fast. So let's get into it. All parts are linked, so take a notebook to implement, because information without implementation is just productive procrastination. Part number 1, build the look. First, let's build the foundation of a cinematic look. What does cinematic even mean? So number 1, choose a consistent background that matches your brand. As you notice, every single one of my videos are filmed in the exact same setup. This creates brand image consistency. Every time you think about my videos, whether that's the main channel or the second channel videos, you picture this image, you picture this background. This becomes part of my personal brand. You can also notice that I wear the same black shirt in every video. Now, the second thing is using natural light or artificial light. The easiest light to master if you're taking B-roll or even A-roll is natural light, because you don't need a crazy setup. You don't need anything special. You just need natural light. The best time to film if you are using natural light is either golden hour, which is sunset or sunrise. Anything else, any shot throughout the day, it just doesn't hit the same. Now that's if you're using natural light. If you're using artificial light, you're gonna need one key light, which is a softbox, the same one I have right above my head over here. And you want to put it, if it's A-roll, you want to put it at a 45-degree angle to your camera. So my camera is over here, my light is over there. And if it's B-roll, using a softbox is going to be a little bit more complex because you have to move it around for the different shots. So to take my lighting setup as an example, I just have my camera over here. I have two lights, two LED colored lights in the background. And I have my main key light over there, just a simple softbox that is pointing at my face. And in my videos, that's all you were going to see. Just A-roll like this frame, layered with different B-rolls. And the B-rolls are made to be as cinematic as possible. So you can either use a natural light or a key light. Number 3, keep your framing consistent. The reason why you need to keep things consistent in your video, the packaging of your video, for example, thumbnails, thumbnail fonts. If you use captions in your video, keep it the same. Your background, your setup, keep everything the same. The only thing that should be different is what you're actually saying and the topics you're talking about. Everything else about your videos should have a similar format. And this creates viewer consistency with experience. Every time a viewer watches one of your videos, they get a consistent experience. And if they like one video, it means that they're gonna like all of your videos. That is the power of creating a consistent viewer expectation and experience. Now, this sounds complex, but what it basically boils down to is people need to recognize your videos. Having consistent key elements, which means it could be the microphone over here, it could be the color grading, it could be, the background like this, it could be the B-rolls, it could be the font that you use for your thumbnail. All of this stuff should be consistent. And number 4, wear colors and clothing that actually matches your background. It has to complement your environment instead of almost like blending into it. And also wear consistent clothing that gives you a personal brand. If you think about Alex Hormozi, he pretty much wears the same tank top in his videos when he's recording. He has the same physique. He wears the school cap. If you think about Iman Gaji, he wears like old money clothes. He wears glasses. And he almost has the same look in every video. And this creates a recognizable personal brand. And now a brand it has everything to do with the person behind the brand. The brand, which is the image, and the actual personal brand, they are codependent. Which means that to create a better personal brand, part of that is not just editing. It's not just cinematic B-roll, but it's also you. You have to be more charismatic. You have to look better, wear different clothes, the same clothes in every video, but wear something that stands out. Present yourself in a certain way, the way that you are authentic to. And all that stuff is going to allow you to build a personal brand that is cinematic. And a cinematic and premium personal brand creates trust from the get-go. And the more trust that is built with your videos, the more you're going to be able to sell, get more views, get more subs, and get more sales for your business. Part number 2, shoot like a pro. Now it's time to make your footage look and feel cinematic. So when we talk about videos, a talking head YouTube video, there are 2 components. Number 1, there's the A-roll. A-roll represents exactly what you're looking at right now. This is the footage. You can see my hands are moving over here. I'm talking the audio. This is a talking head. This is the A-roll shot. And now B-rolls are any type of footage where you're not actually talking. So if I'm talking about deep work or reading or journaling, I layer shots that show me doing that thing. So you can still hear my voice, but you see different visuals. So there's A-roll, B-roll, and you can even use cinematic music. I personally use MusicBed for my music in my videos. I'm not sponsored by them, but I just wanted to say that. Finding a good place to get licensed music you can use in YouTube videos is a great way to make your videos cinematic. And if your videos are cinematic, you're building a cinematic personal brand. Also, you probably haven't noticed that the way I'm standing in this frame. So as you can see, my head is like really close to the top and my face is in like the upper third. You can see my shoulders. You can see like the rest of my upper body. Now, what this does is it creates this authoritative, credible frame. Now, in reality, I'm not that tall. I'm 5'9". But based on this frame, it makes me look big. I do have a decent physique, but that's besides the point. The way you are framed in your A-roll, it can make you look more powerful, less powerful. It depends on how you frame yourself. Now, there are different types of lenses, different types of angles. You can have an upward angle, a downward angle, a neutral angle. But that's a topic for a different video. But the way you frame yourself is the key to a personal brand. Everything is built based on first impressions. So if you can use charisma, if you can use the way you communicate, if you can use the microphone, the quality of your audio, if you can use good visuals to portray your message and build a personal brand, that is when you win. So number 2, after we've covered the A-roll, after everything in your A-roll looks good, the background is clean, you have different lights, you have different elements, you have a nice angle, a good frame. Now we're going to talk about B-roll. B-roll is one of the things that it's just a digital asset that is going to help you out in your videos. Now, when you use B-roll, it just enhances and makes your video at least a couple times better. So using nice, cinematic, supportive B-roll that actually supports what you're saying instead of just putting random clips. If I'm talking about reading and I just put a random clip of me doing nothing, it's not going to hit the same as if I'm saying I'm talking about reading, explaining how reading is good for you, and then I put a B-roll where it's me reading. So this really makes a difference. And what I've noticed is there are certain contexts, certain like types of B-roll that fit everywhere. Something like desk shots, something like, deep work frames, you can actually layer them pretty much anywhere. Even if I'm talking about deep work, or I'm talking about locking in, or I'm talking about being focused, there are so many contexts where one B-roll might fit. And number 3 is camera movement. If you have a cameraman that's good, you can ask your cameraman to, when he's taking B-roll, actually move towards the shot or move away, pan in, pan out, move from side to side. This helps a lot. If you're shooting by yourself, that's a different story. Or if you actually want, you can keep your camera exactly where it is, and then when you're editing, you can actually crop in, zoom out. But it obviously looks more natural when it's done natively in the camera. So this makes the edit feel dynamic. It keeps people engaged. Anytime you're saying something important, you can zoom into the shot just a little bit to add emphasis. If you're here to build a personal brand that beats past the competition, subscribe to the channel. And let's go to part number 3, craft the edit. So this is about bringing everything together, bringing every part of your video, from the script to the music, to the A-rolls, to the B-rolls, to the color grading, to the sound effects if you use them, to the text, bringing everything together and making the final product. That is what the edit is. So for example, you can use sound design, especially in the intro, to make the video more immersive, but you don't have to use this for the rest of the video. To be honest, you can actually just get away with front loading 80% of your editing to the first 30 seconds, the first couple of minutes of your video. And as the video goes along, especially along from YouTube video, you can progressively edit less and less and less. This is the power of editing, but you also want to edit smart. If you spend an extra 5 hours editing some small thing in the 9th minute of a YouTube video, that is very unleveraged. But instead, if you focus a lot on the thumbnail, the title, if you focus a lot on the actual intro of the video, that is your time well spent. Because think about it, everybody is going to watch the intro. Most people start skipping away as the video goes along. And by the 9th minute, there's only like 20% of people, maybe even less, watching your video. Number 2 is color grading. In the edit, color grading is one of the most important things. Now, people really underestimate how color grading can transform a shot and make it look insanely cinematic. Even shots and B-rolls where the lighting wasn't that great, I've been able to turn into cinematic footages just by the power of color grading. Now, to be fair, I've been color grading for the last like 3 years of my life, so it does take a little bit of experience, but you can learn it much quicker and actually develop the basics for color grading. You don't have to be an expert at color grading, you just have to play around, experiment, and practice, and probably color grade for around a couple of months. And the more you do this, the better you will get. And what I do, so I have an editor on my main channel, but before that I was editing all the videos by myself, and I edited like 200 videos on the main channel. So what I used to use myself and what I now give to my editor to actually edit with is pre-color graded B-rolls. So what I do is I batch color grade the B-rolls myself, and then I export them like that, and then I send them over as a file to my editor, and he goes and clips them, and now he has a lot of color graded B-roll, which makes it easier. He doesn't have to color grade the same B-rolls again and again. And even for myself, when I was editing, this just makes the workflow so much more consistent and so much easier. So color grading your B-roll in advance, creating montages and B-roll sequences that are already pre-color graded is a very good way to go. It makes everything easier, and it's also, you can really have like nail down the look, and now you have a B-roll that you can use again and again. Just make sure to not reuse the same ones so often. Switch them up from time to time to keep it dynamic, to keep the video going. Now, number 3 is mix faster moments with slower ones. You need this dynamic pacing. If I'm always talking really fast and then I never really give myself a break, it doesn't hit the same. Instead, I want to talk really fast and then slow down, take a pause, and then talk faster. The same thing applies to B-rolls, to editing. You want to have sequences, maybe in the intro, where you edit really fast. You have a lot of effects, you have a lot of scene changes and scene cuts, but then you make it a bit slower, and then you speed up a bit, and then you slow down. So this keeps the viewer really engaged because you have the contrast. If everything is fast, then there's no value in it. If everything is slow, then it just feels slow. But if you have fast and slow and fast and slow, this makes everything a lot more dynamic. Now, when it comes to creating a cinematic personal brand, the rule of thumb is contrast. With literally everything, how can you create contrast? Contrast with the B-rolls, contrast with, you know, how I look in the frame. Contrast with, maybe I'm the anti-stereotype. You know, like Alex Hormozi is a guy who talks about business. He nerds out about business, but he's also jacked at the same time. You can have somebody who's in phenomenal shape talking to the camera, but they're also wearing very nerdy glasses, and they're talking about philosophy or something. Now, contrast can be with you, yourself, what you're wearing. You could wear like a black shirt against a white background, or a white shirt against a black background, whatever that might be. You could have contrast with the music that you use. You could have contrast with the B-rolls, meaning that you have one B-roll in nature and then one B-roll in like an office setup. You could have one B-roll that is like really close up and one B-roll that is like a very wide shot. Contrast, contrast, contrast. Contrast is like, it's the name of cinematography. So if you're ever confused, like, how do I make this shot more cinematic? Ask yourself, how do I create more contrast? Introduce it. Now, I'll talk more about this in later videos. Now, number 4 is remove anything that doesn't really add to the viewer experience. This could be an edit. This could be like random sound effects. This could be random text, whatever that might be. A lot more times, it's just like simplicity is the key. We try to complicate things more than they have to be complicated, but just keeping things simple, that is also a way to go. Having a cinematic personal brand doesn't really mean adding more and more things to your personal brand. It just means removing the things that are not really enhancing the experience and just keeping the things that are essential. The same thing goes with productivity. I know this channel is not about productivity, but to be productive, you just need to remove 80% of things and just keep 20% of the things that matter. Same thing with your personal brand. This also applies to what you're saying, what you're talking about. If it doesn't add value, just remove it. This is the process of elimination. So I'm currently building a community for personal brands and content creators who are looking to get to the top, gain more subs, have more growth, get more views, and build their business and get more sales. That is the power of a personal brand. It allows you to live a life of freedom. If you want to be part of that community when it launches, then subscribe to the channel and make sure you're following me so that you don't miss the announcement when we actually launch Content OS, which is going to be our school community. It's going to be packed with immense value that is going to help you build your personal brand. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and you got this.